Welcome everybody, it's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and start the meeting. If you notice, Mike isn't here tonight. If you saw the news, the legislature is in session, so he's down there tonight. I don't know what time they'll be done. It sounds like they might be there a while. First item on the agenda is to consider approving the minutes from the April 14, 2021 and to sign the disbursement warrant.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Item number 2, presentation of the 2020 Spirit of America Award.
I have Reverend Sunman Jim and Farrell Watson and Ray Watson here to receive that.
Photographer. I'll bring this over to you in a minute, so I'll read it. I'll take my mask down so I can read it here. Town of Oakland, Town Council, Municipal Resolution 2021, be it resolved by the Oakland Town Council acting as the municipal officers. Be it resolved by the Oakland Council of the Town of Oakland as follows. Where the Oakland Food Pantry is a volunteer organization that is located in the Town of Oakland, Maine. Whereas the Oakland Food Pantry functions as a volunteer service by providing free, healthy, and nutritious food to those who need it. Whereas during a time back in the late 1970s, a group of thoughtful and caring people formed a food pantry designed to help those who suffered from a shortage of food. The Oakland Food Pantry was operated by a consortium of Oakland churches called the Oakland Council of Churches. During this period, the Oakland Food Pantry operated out of the basement level of Memorial Hall on Church Street. Whereas in the year 2000, the Council of Churches moved the food pantry from the basement of Memorial Hall to the Oakland Methodist Church and is operated out of this facility to this day. Whereas throughout the pandemic, the volunteers of the Oakland Food Pantry, at their personal risk, fed hundreds of families, delivered food to those who dared not to travel or could not travel, and provided once and again the value and vital importance of dedicated volunteerism for the betterment of others regardless of peril. Whereas the commitment and actions from so many volunteers over the past 40+ years have made the Oakland Food Pantry a success and a critical food source for many Oakland residents. Be it resolved by the Oakland Council that the Oakland Food Pantry is hereby recognized for the outstanding achievement and honors that they have brought upon the community with the 2020 Oakland Spirit of America Foundation Tribute. And this was approved March 24th, 2021, and it's been signed by the members of the Oakland Town Council.
Let me see that. There we go.
Can I get your son?
Smile, John. Be a photo bomber. Come on.
David, get right in there. We'll
Get in there.
David, right at us.
Get in there, photo bomber. That'd be awesome.
I'll give him the backside. See advertising on TV there?
Yeah.
Nice backside, some darn thing like that. Awesome, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say, do
There's a
you
darn thing on
mind reading these
TV.
little people that have worked at every one of the things once or twice a month since this started? I hope you can read my writing. If you can't,
I'll ask you. Leanne
bourgeois.
Bourgeois, Peter Godfrey, Jen Proctor, Terry Bowman, is that
Alan Block.
Luke, and Gene Bonnet. And I
They're
know
the
you've
real
had-
workers.
I know you've had a lot of volunteers there over the years.
Yes, we have. But these were the frontline workers.
And usually we could expect to see you at budget time to remind us that we should give you some money for the Oakland Food Pantry.
Oh, okay.
We missed you.
Thank you.
Yes, nice to have you here, Clara.
What?
Nice to see you here.
Thank you.
I need to get you two over to another meeting, so we're going to head out. Thank you all. Thank you very much for
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Item 3, to vote on entering a police mutual aid agreement with neighboring communities. you're gonna cover that, Gary?
Yeah, this is the same mutual aid agreement that we've had for years. Somehow it lapsed without any of the police chiefs noticing it. And so this is retroactive, effective April 1st, 2021. You don't need to sign anything, we just need to have it on record that you've accepted it, and the chiefs and I will sign it, and all the town managers.
I make a motion, we accept it.
We have a second. Any discussion, anybody? Go ahead, Tom.
Gary, is it typical that all of these are for 1 year? Do we have to reapprove them each year? Is that
I don't think this is a 1 year, I think this is a 5 year.
5 year?
Yeah, I believe this is, yeah, it's to March 31st, 2026.
And it's a fire on the same?
But, you know, I can't remember how the fire department works. Can you share that, Dave?
Fire departments generally, there's a statewide agreement, legal agreement through the state that we can go anywhere we have to go. But some departments do an individual mutual aid agreement, but I know that we have one for the area towns, but I don't believe there's a time frame on it. It's just an agreement. Unless something changes, they usually don't alter it.
And this is the way it's been historically here, is every 5 years.
But I remember just a short time ago, we voted on the fire department having the same.
Well, and
What was
the
that?
reason for that is because that was my suggestion. I just think it's appropriate if we have mutual aid agreements with new towns such as the town of Skowhegan, that our council should have some input on that, and that's the reason why I brought it to you. We don't typically vote on the mutual aid agreement between Oakland and Sydney and Belgrade and Rome. I mean, they're all close neighbors. Skowhegan's a few miles up the road.
And this one is just for the Waterville?
Yeah, this one's for Waterville, Clinton, Oakland, the neighboring towns, Fairfield, Winslow. You know, when Dave and I work the cruises, I mean, we're over in those towns quite often, and because they get big calls and they need manpower, and so this covers us liability-wise.
This has been pretty much standard operating procedure for years, isn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Cover for each other. Do we have a motion?
We did. We had a move to second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you, John.
Item 4 is to vote to approve a liquor license and amusement permit for the Thirsty Mule.
Right. I did call the police department. They had nothing notable other than a rescue call up there. I think they had an unlocked door that one of our police officers found in the middle of the night. It's the only thing I have on it.
We have a motion?
I move we approve the liquor license for the Thirsty Mule.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Dave?
No.
Oh, I thought you had discussion.
Yeah, I'm trying to do two things at once.
All those in favor of approving it? And
There's 3 documents that need to be signed for the Thirsty Mule, so I've put them all together.
are they on their way around now?
They are.
Okay. And item 5, to sign the sewer commitment.
Yeah, you should have that coming
And
around
that's
as
on
well.
its way too.
Okay. Why don't we take just a minute and get those signed, so we're sure we get them all signed? While we're doing that, we got one item to add, number 7, about a road name up off Summer Street that I'll read in a minute here.
Daniel, while we're signing documents, the Pressing House, we gave a liquor license, approved a liquor license in February. So she came in today, and they have to have a form that's called an extension of a liquor license. And it's actually for the premises that are outside, even though it was actually in the actual application to begin with. This is a different form, so I told her that I didn't see a problem that the council would sign it. It's just another formality, I believe. So,
It's nothing we have to vote on, we can just sign it.
well, we can sign it, or you can vote on it, but I know when we approved the liquor license, we approved the application itself, and that included where she would be serving. So,
Okay.
but however we wish to do it, at least the approval would be there. And that's for the Pressing House.
We agreed just to sign and just sign it.
Why don't you make a motion, we do it, and then when we've done it.
I make a motion, we sign and sign the application.
Any second? All those in favor?
Thank you.
We'll make it legal for you, Dan.
I like it.
Jan,
Yes,
should I have I written abstain on this, or do I just?
that was in February that we did that. Are you, which one are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think you should be voting.
Thank you.
That's all. Item 6, to review and approve the updated COVID policy.
Okay, so when we drafted this policy back a year ago, we knew that this would be a living document, and as time marched forward, we'd be making some changes to it. Basically, the changes that we've made to it this time is we've eliminated the CARES Act that was talked about by President Trump in here, and we've eliminated the extended travel, because the travel restrictions have pretty much been taken away. The other parts that have been changed is close contact, test for COVID, and return to work. Added section B in there, which states basically if an employee's been vaccinated and has had contact with employees presumed to be COVID positive, the employee shall be tested for COVID, but can return to work without quarantine while waiting for the test results. They're going to be required to wear a mask. If they haven't been vaccinated, then the same rules apply. The other change was masking, and so what that boils down to is if an employee's been vaccinated, the vaccinated employee can unmask while working inside areas the public's not permitted if the entire staff has been vaccinated. If one or more of the staff members have not been vaccinated, others will be required to mask. Now, this is kind of the same thing that what the city of Augusta is doing. I talked to Susan down there, she sent me up their policy. And every employee must wear a mask when in spaces where the public is permitted or within public view. Public spaces are considered both inside and outside. Now, that's changed because as of yesterday, we don't have to wear masks while we're outside unless we're in crowded areas. If an employee chooses not to vaccinate, that employee will be required to wear a mask while at work. And this is probably going to change again within the next couple of days because I got to get that modification that just happened. Any questions or comments on that? Our committee looked this over. And,
Did that change yesterday about outside? Did that really affect your operation any?
Well, it's changed a few things actually, because when we're outside, you know, in the public, we don't have to mask anymore. Before, we were going to enforce the masking. And
so like AJ's crew or Public Works, they don't have to wear their masks outdoors. Now, do they have to be vaccinated to not do it? Or?
No, they're not saying that. I mean, it's just in flux all the time. Trying to even stay up with it is impossible, so.
Anybody have any questions on that? If not, we'll go on to item 7, Serenity Drive.
Okay.
The developer on Summer Street is nearing the completion of a 4-unit apartment building. The tentative plan is to add 2 duplexes to the property. This will require a 911 address. The developer would like to have Serenity Drive as the name. She did not have a second or third choice currently, so hopefully Serenity Drive is acceptable. And it says, I did speak to the fire chief about the street name, and he did not have any conflicts with it. Signed by David, code enforcement officer. Any
So moved.
moved and seconded? Any discussion about Serenity Drive? All
Just
in
a
favor?
question, just a question.
Yeah.
Are there gonna be 2 more duplexes or 2 more?
No, Serenity Drive is up where the apartment house is being built.
4 units.
On top of it? Yeah, and so there's a road that's going in there, and they're gonna build 2 more of those buildings in there.
4 units each?
I believe so.
So it's
Same
not
size.
duplexes, it's
They're, yeah, quadplex.
2 more units, it doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, with that, well, I mean, there's a need for housing, and we've got one that's being built up on Country Club Road right across from the golf course. And that's, I believe, 8 units in that building. So it's, you know, there's a demand for it, and people are stepping up to the demand now.
Are most of the units very small, 1 bedroom?
Up here?
Well,
I've
the
never
ones on
been-
Country Club Road and the ones on Summer Street?
The one on the Country Club Road is 2 and 3 bedrooms. The one up here, I couldn't tell you, I haven't heard that information yet.
Anything else?
And the only other thing I have,
Managers report.
yeah, I'm planning on taking vacation 2 days after the town meeting on 5/6, which is Thursday, and I'm planning on coming back, I'm taking the next week off, and coming back the week after. Unless there's any objections to that. And the other thing that brings it up, we actually have a council meeting that's scheduled for the week that I'm gonna be gone. I mean, I would probably make a recommendation that we push it off until the last meeting of the month. Or we can go dead center on it too. It makes it. It's nice if we can keep it on, you know, we're gonna have to be talking about our summer schedule as well. And we can do that right now if you'd like.
So,
What's the first, what would the first meeting in June be?
So on May, the first meeting was gonna be on the 12th of May, and I'm gonna be on vacation.
Right.
So the next meeting would be on the 26th of May. Unless you want to go dead center of the month and do the 19th.
Well, that's what I was wondering, does it make sense to do it the 19th and then have 3 weeks between that?
I think that's not a bad idea. You know, we'll just get the word out.
any other opinions on that? Is there any conflict with Bob or Dave on the
I'm just checking.
19th?
That's fine.
Keep June the same, and then look at July and August maybe? Because I know that,
Dave checking his,
No, I'm good.
you're good on the 19th?
so we're gonna have 5/19.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion to that effect? Second it. All those in favor of having the May council meeting be on the 19th? All in favor, you vote for it, Dave?
Yeah,
Okay,
Bill had a
All his hands are tied up right now.
so do you want to consider July and August now?
Yeah, we'll keep June the same, and July and August, you know, it makes no difference to me how you want to do it, because typically our meeting would be on the 14th and the 28th, and if you cut it back to one meeting in July, we can look at the 21st if you'd like, it's kind of dead center as well. Now, we don't even have to look at a summer schedule if you don't want. We can keep it going the way it is, and then if we decide something comes up, and if you want to,
I like that better. Why don't we just wait until June and then decide on the rest of the...
okay, that sounds fine.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Is that everything you had for your manager?
Go ahead.
Dave, you have anything to bring up?
I do not.
Bob?
I would just notice that the new street, Serenity Drive, is not that far from Tranquility Trail, and how peaceful part of town we live in.
Sound of it.
Can we rethink these names?
What's that?
Can we rethink, re-vote on these names?
Maybe we should.
Devil's Den.
Do you have anything?
Better wait there.
Kelly, do you have anything to bring up? Sean, did you have anything? The only thing I had a question on is, probably the most maligned group of people around in the country right now is police forces. And I'm a news junkie, I watch too much news, and I probably shouldn't, because every day they're beating down police forces everywhere, and they're retiring like crazy, taking early retirement. Is that affecting the morale of our police force at all?
Well, it can't help but not affect
Well, I would
their
think
morale.
so, but-
I mean, you know, it affects my morale. You know, I mean, I think that anybody who's been in the business, you know, it's gotten to the point where even a good cop is a bad cop right now. And, you know, and it's unfortunate because, you know, the job is a tough job. And they carry a gun for a living, and it makes it really, really difficult when you have to do that part of your job. And, you know, and with today's body cameras, you know, and if you have to arrest a man that's 6'6" and he's got felony warrants, you have no choice, and that camera's running, there's absolutely no way to make that pretty. And with cameras today, I mean, it looks like police brutality. So they're afraid to do their job, and it's really, it's not a good situation any way around. Now, just like any profession, there's bad cops out there, just like there's bad plumbers, and there's, you know, but unfortunately that bad cop makes everybody look bad. And it's discouraging. I feel bad for these guys. Fortunately, in the town of Oakland, the public likes our police department, and I think that we're kind of in a little bit of a bubble here, but you know, we keep getting beat like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's every day on the news, there's news people or reporters just denigrating the police departments everywhere. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think one of the biggest things that's coming down the pipeline is qualified immunity.
Yeah.
And I know they're going after that, we need to watch that.
And Bob had something on that, maybe he knows more about it than some of us, but
Well, I'm no expert in qualified immunity, but I know that legislators, for instance, have qualified immunity, so you can't sue them civilly for something that they do unless they commit a felony. And then right now, a lot of them in Augusta are voting to take qualified immunity away from police officers while they themselves have it. I find just
That happens, you won't see the police department. People,
And that's the
happens,
big
well,
fear right there, is that if this becomes a victory, then it's a huge hit to law enforcement in general.
And the lawsuits will never stop coming. Every time somebody gets pulled over, there'll be a lawsuit with, he didn't like my grandfather, he doesn't like me, he pulled me over every time I go through town. It will just be endless lawsuits, money for lawyers. I hope they don't pass it,
you
but
know,
I'm afraid they're working on it.
we need our law enforcement, and I think after the smoke clears, nothing's really going to impact them too much. I don't think qualified immunity is going to go away. Because I think that there's enough common sense out there and enough information to go and make people realize that police departments like Oakland won't go away. You'll have a hard time finding anybody willing to step up and do that job. Because it's a bad job. I mean, you deal with death. You deal with anything you do as a police officer, it's with bad stuff. I mean, you're not being called to go and save a cat. You're being called to arrest somebody or to break up a fight, or you're the first one off at a scene when somebody died in the middle of the night. You have to go and be there. You're giving death notifications to people who've lost a loved one in a car crash. These are not easy jobs. And if they start taking the protection and whittling away at these people, there's better jobs out there for them. I've been a firm believer that if you're in that profession for more than 10 years, you've got PTSD for all the crap that you see, even in a little town like the town of Oakland.
I mean, the domestic violence and things like that they have to deal with on the job must be devastating to them. I mean, I don't know how they sleep at night, you know, those things must just keep coming back and back, and I hope our police department, I think they pretty know that they have a lot of support in this council, I'm sure, from all of us, and that, you know, we have no inclination to accept any of that that's going on. I'm sure that we all agree with that, knowing these guys here on the council. I don't have anything else, nobody?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
All those in favor? Thank you, gentlemen.
Don't forget to close.